All right, so yeah, I guess we can kind of get going. So okay, we do have one new person, and then one person who wasn't in from last time. So I think yeah, where we left off is you guys were sitting in the train. So I think we probably want to make it so that you're getting out of the train. We're now up in York, the city, the town, I should say, not exactly a big city of York in northern England. They've wiped away the Nazis, but you did manage to flip through the. Actually, I should say Louis managed to flip through their car because the rest of you guys were kind of confined to your cabin after you left people's brain matter on the wall.
Yeah, yes.
When they said blow their minds.
But yeah, let's see. So, oh, that's right. I did want to add something in the previous time. Oh, and actually, before I do that, let me go ahead and deal the fate cards. So normally you'd start with your refresh, and that's what I'm going to do with most folks. But we played such a small amount last week that I know both Artem and Steven, you had an extra fate point, so I'm just going to go ahead and assign that. Where are we? There we go. Sorry. I'm doing something really, I promise. There it goes. Okay.
It's also the title of your sex tape.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Apparently, I'm not the only one who's precocious.
That's the title of my sex tape.
You sure it's not just Rule 34, say no more? I had to explain what Rule 34 was to my wife the other day, and she was horrified.
You had to?
Yeah.
There was a situation where that was necessary.
Yes,
She
because I
compelled him.
said, because she made a comment, and I said, ooh, Rule 34. And then she said, what's that?
And then you introduced her to the internet.
She's very familiar with the internet, just not the parts that say we're all familiar with.
All right. So okay. So anyway, so you were on there. So there was one thing that I wanted to toss in there that Louis, you found there was a compartment that you had discovered. I think like right as we stopped playing last week, that had some stuff in it that maybe the other people wouldn't have found because it was in a semi-secret compartment that you, with your tradecraft skills, knew to look for where the other folks perhaps did not. So let's see. Trying to find it. I don't think I probably will be able to, but yeah. So I mean, basically, it's like it just looks like a little. I mean, the little lapels that folks carry. You know how, for example, the SS had the two little lightning bolts. This is like a picture of what looks like a sun, but like just the outline of a sun in black.
All right.
And then to you, actually, you don't offhand recognize this is like some kind of spy agency that you're aware of, which is probably meaningful in and of itself.
All right.
So yeah, so otherwise, the two dead dudes are off the train. They did seem to be following you. So yeah, so the actual little town that you want to go to is down toward near the center of England proper, down towards the south. Sorry, I have to think about my directions. The southwest of the York
How far is it from the
area.
train station?
It's still roughly an hour by car. But yeah, there's a little township. It's very small. It's just basically a few houses, and then
Is it
Yeah.
out on the moors and all that?
I see it's a little north. I think actually for the moors. Actually, no, moors are Scotland. Actually, I think this.
No,
York,
there's moors in Yorkshire.
okay,
They call
well,
them the Yorkshire moors.
yeah. So
That's how I
oh
know.
yeah, well there you go. Oh yeah, that's where you guys caught Awesome 220, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
No comment.
It's it actually is out in that area. So yes.
Yeah, we'll work you in.
All right. Yeah. Speaking of
Which is the
which,
title of my sex tape.
Oh dear.
yeah. So speaking of which,
begins.
so this all got kind of started by everybody got a little letter that told them to show up at various locations.
Yeah, I watched the video number 1.
Okay, cool, great. So yeah, so you have an idea of like how folks got together. In fact, if you wanted to perhaps inform everybody, perhaps how you got up to York, that would be cool.
Well, I don't know what happened in the last session aside from fight on a train.
That's about it.
So, I guess I think probably the simplest thing would be that I got a letter as well. Graduated from his third degree in New York. He got a strange letter from, is it called Majesty in the States or?
Yeah, Majestic is the state's version, which actually hasn't been formed yet.
Okay, so he got a letter from a strange organization promising money and riches, or at least the opportunity to achieve those things, and with some interest in his research and his work, which tends to be into energy weapons, and to show up at York today.
Right. Well, yeah, I guess probably what they would have said, hey, go to London, and then like when you got down there, they're like, oh yeah, the guys have already moved up north, so follow
Fair.
them. So yeah, so they maybe put you in a car and
Along with Killian, I guess.
oh right, yeah, stuck you and Killian into a car,
Okay.
or you guys just got stowed in the baggage compartment.
Val is small, but probably unwilling to be stowed in a compartment.
All right, so yeah, so you guys are now there. So I guess you're presumably meeting each other outside of York Station. York is it's a for English purposes during this period. I mean, it's a larger town, but it's definitely not a city. It is, I think, the county seat of the area. But yeah, you do have the keys actually to the car that the weird, presumably German organization had set up there that you could, well, do whatever with. Otherwise, yeah, up to you as to how you're going to get to the little town. There's not a railroad that runs straight over to it at this point.
Well, if we have a
Yeah,
car,
I've got that key, so I'm gonna go look for that car.
All right.
Does any of us pick
We'll just get
drive?
the unlock thing until we see the lights come on.
so
Sorry, go ahead.
I am with who?
It's the group's called Section D.
No, I mean, I came up in a car with
Oh.
another player, or just by myself with somebody from M, or
With Brian, basically, with Killian.
okay.
Yes.
Am I with them yet, or him, or who?
Yeah, you came up with Val.
Right.
Killian came up with Val in a car.
Copy that.
Exactly.
And do any of us know how to drive?
Well, just because you have a drive of 0 doesn't mean you don't know how. It just means that if you're trying
Yeah,
to
I
do
take it.
that-
We all have like a basic level of skill, right?
right.
Okay.
I'm more comfortable on a horse, personally.
Yeah.
Val would definitely know how to drive.
That's not the name of my sex tape.
Man, you're from Enumclaw then.
So,
All right,
okay.
so am I finding this car or what?
Yeah, there's not a lot of, cars out there. It's all black. Otherwise it's
it's
standard.
right there.
Stylish.
Yeah, it's a Volkswagen, so it's obviously their car.
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing I do is I go through all the glove compartments and everything, just give it a thorough little check.
All right, yeah, go ahead and make an investigate roll then.
Hold on, let me just go to my character sheet. Oh, that's not spectacular.
I think we've got your. Didn't you copy everything up into the into here as well? Yes, we did. So, your if you want to open your character sheet here in Roll20, it should have everything you need here too.
Yeah, no, I've got it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so if you want to make that,
I did.
Oh, you did. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not. Oh, I'm stupid. I didn't have it open. Okay,
I'm
so.
okay with rolling again.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's why you're saying it wasn't brilliant. I'm like, I thought it was because you failed your investigate roll to find your character sheet. Yeah, so you you notice that it's a car and you find the ignition. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
Nice.
No
It's a
surprises
car.
there then.
So we're just Val and Killian in the parking lot. Is that the kind of the idea?
Yeah.
We get there, they're already there.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
they came up in
can
their
they-
own vehicle, but so go ahead.
I guess they probably introduced themselves as Section M, and we believe them.
Well, you recognize Killian from before, so.
Oh, that's correct. Yes, you're right. All right, cool.
So is this car, this Section M car that drove them up, is it hanging about? Or?
Yeah, that's still there. There's still the guy who drove them up is still up here as well. He doesn't trust Americans to drive on the other side of the road.
Hey, I'm from New York. I'll drive on whatever side I want.
That is precisely why we don't let you drive up here.
Whatever.
Okay, well, Constantine gets into the Nazi car and tries to start it.
All right. Yeah. By the way, I
Shotgun.
mean, among other things, you do. I mean, there is a go into the glove compartment. There's nothing really that looks like of great value. I mean, the title's there. It was signed by some English person out of London.
If you'd like, I can take a look. I'm pretty good with things like that.
Well, insurance papers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Constantine hands over the papers. There you go.
Well, I'm just going to settle myself in the passenger seat.
I already called shotgun, by the way.
Well, that's too bad. I outrank you.
So,
And
so I am there, right? So I'll do a quick once over mechanics to see, just in case there's anything weird about it, some tracking device or anything else that might trip my sense of
All right.
danger.
Sounds good. Yeah, go ahead and make a mechanics roll. So that's going to be, you should have, actually, you may not have turned this on. If you go to settings and you turn on the macro quick bar.
Got that.
Okay, great. So you're at the bottom of the page, and then you should have like fate dice, +1 fate dice, and it's just basically,
So +4, right?
yes, since your mechanics is +4, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Nice.
right. Yeah, so I didn't have anything particularly weird noted about the car, but was there maybe something that you were expecting to find there? Or?
Well, all I know about it so far is that they've said it's a German car. I'm not
Sure.
particularly fond of the Germans, and I'm working currently for a secretive organization, tracking devices, booby traps, brake lines,
Right. So, do you think you found a tracking device? That's why I'm doing something called giving narrative control.
I think I found something that looks like it should be a tracking device, but I'm not sure how it works, which should be odd for me.
Yeah, actually, good. That's a good idea. Yeah, in fact, it's a tracking device, but it has like this. Instead of like a battery, it's got like this. You're kind of popping it open and looking at it as everybody else is getting into the car, and it's got like this weird. Ooh, you know what? Yeah, you're high in mechanics, and you're also big in like the energy weapon thing. So
Sciences, yeah.
yeah, sciences. I think we specialized in energy weapons
Yeah.
or energy something.
High
So you would.
energy.
You would notice this straight off. It doesn't seem to be fueled by a battery per se, but like this little blue crystal that actually looks absolutely nothing like you've ever really seen before, and in fact doesn't look like something that like really should be in should be powering up a car at all, or in a car, something like a bug at all. I mean, it's like it's just tiny, and it seems to produce way too much energy for its size, and it kind of freaks you out. So go ahead and make a will roll against +1. It's sanity.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Well, let's just jump right in. Okay,
Exactly.
so a will roll for me is so it's just fate dice +1.
Yes. Well, if your will's +1,
Um,
you're trying to beat +1 is what you're.
yes, my will is +2 actually.
Okay. So yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so +2, 3.
All right, so good news and bad news. You didn't make it, so you don't lose any sanity like certain people did the first time we rolled this.
Hey,
You made bad rolls. You're a bad player.
I think they're making fun of mental
I think
health
it
here.
goes a bit further than that. I think we can say that he's a bad person.
Oh wow.
Oh dear.
Ableists.
All right, so what happened? So so mechanically, the sanity is one of the nastier aspects of this game. So the good news is you made your roll. The bad news is you didn't make it with style. And by the way, you actually, just to stave this off in case somebody was thinking, hey, maybe I could do this, you actually can't spend fate points on sanity rolls unless you are unhinged.
Can you now? I didn't try to like stack any effects or anything like
Well,
that.
right.
Is there a situation where
that's-
that kind of thing makes sense.
Well, see, that's the thing. You actually can't invoke aspects
Okay.
on sanity rolls.
Right.
The
Okay,
exception
that's fine.
being if you get down to, I think it's unhinged is the name of the state.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can start doing it then, but before you do so, you can't. So okay, so what happened here is you want to mark down at the bottom of your character sheet
Yep.
that your effective will is now 1 point lower than your actual will.
Okay. So effective will is +1.
Right. And then I'll just note that in here that you've got a darn it. You got some kind of mental boost that can be used against you once. Let's see, which one is? Oh yeah, you're the capybara. That's right.
Oh, am I?
Well, you can always upload your own picture. These are the ones that I put up
All right.
in
I'll
order to
figure it out.
encourage people to upload their own.
I'll figure out how to upload one later.
Sure. And see, Brian's is a pretty rainbow bear.
Yes.
I'm keeping that.
Oh, I thought it was a rainbow butt monkey.
So you're rattled for now, unless you think of something that's more appropriate.
What was that about effective will?
Sorry.
What was that about effective will? I don't have anything in that box.
Yeah, because you failed the sanity straight up. 1, 2, that those effects, like the affected will, like it goes away after like a good night's sleep. So that one isn't permanent. The only thing that's permanent, and it's not even permanent, is loss of sanity.
And for Val, given that you are a expert of some type of energy weapons, I assume, having not been driven insane by this crystal, you're probably going to want to keep it for some potential future use, given it looks like some kind of energy source.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
While we're in the car, the first thing I'm going to want to do is shield it. So I'll use some of my handy dandy tool belt to figure out what it is actually, how it's tracking us, like radio or what, and either turn it off, shield it, or try to misdirect it.
All right. Sure. Yeah. So I think the applicable thing there would. So while he's doing that, what's everybody else doing?
I guess the other two need to get in the car so we can get going. We were told time was of the essence.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's not like super duper. I mean, I think you were wanting to like take a couple weeks to try and decipher that
Yes,
thing that you found.
Otherwise,
Right. So I mean, like time isn't like you have to get there right now. It's that you really can't spend 2 weeks going through that. And also, I mean, you saw there were guys chasing you, so I mean, you can hang around and see if somebody else catches up and starts to.
I think we're driving
harass you.
towards the farm.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah.
Well, not
There's
yet.
Sorry?
Because Considine was busy watching what was going on with this little box that came out from under the car, so he hasn't driven away yet. But I can be.
Right.
Maybe we should.
Okay, do we have a map or something?
Yeah, they did supply you with a map. It just it shows you the road down to the little town.
Okay,
Also, yeah.
I guess we'll set off.
All right. So I think unless somebody wants to try and compel something or whatever, we can say that it's an uneventful trip.
Hooray!
Yeah, Constantine did want to have a chat with everyone, just because he says, maybe it's a good idea to have a little discussion about tactics, because after this adventure we had on the train, which didn't go quite according to plan, we may want to...
quite visibly rolls his eyes.
Yeah, Constantine explains to the two people who weren't on the train, two people were following us, and I cornered one of them, after which Lazar and, what's the name of Panzer's character?
Stanislav
kind of killed them quite dead.
And
which
that's
made
a
it
problem
hard
with
to...
us?
Because it made it very hard to have a chat with them, because we've been followed at every turn and we have no idea who's following us.
Well, maybe I can figure something out from this little thing.
Yeah, that would be quite good. But, we may want to, if we run into someone else, and undoubtedly we will, we may want to kind of gear ourselves towards taking one of them prisoner.
Speaking of which, Julian, go ahead and make a mechanics roll.
Okay, hang on.
Actually, it would be mechanics. It would be the applicable science roll.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I've got +3. This is for figuring out where this thing came from?
Well, yeah, or how it works, what it does.
Okay, so I have sciences, but also I was just trying to think if there's a way that I can build on that.
Right. So what you want to do is you want to make your roll first, and then
okay.
And then if the roll isn't high enough, then you can invoke an aspect to see how see if you can get more points, basically.
Okay, so 4.
Right, which, by the way, is pretty high. Yeah, so it's a weird piece of equipment. I mean, normally it looks like it's kind of stuck in there the way that little crystals stuck in there the way like a battery might be stuck in, but it doesn't have like wires connecting to the rest of the bug per se. It's just seems to just kind of feed from that, like it was radioactive or something. Although, and it does glow actually, but
Oh, fantastic!
So you have cancer now. Just kidding.
So does it have any sort of a signature that would indicate like German engineering, or like that it came from a particular mad genius that I might be aware of?
Good call. Yeah, the part of it that isn't the crystal definitely looks German in make. It's for sure classic. I don't know, Krupp company.
Anti-Semite technology.
Yeah, you can tell. You can just tell the hatred of Judaism in the.
But it's so very efficient.
All right. But
Any kind of reading on the energy coming off this thing? Can I do like a lore roll on that?
Well, I mean, I'll say that. Okay, so straight out. Yeah, I mean, so he's kind of showing it off to everybody to kind of maybe see what everybody else can tell from it. Yeah, you can definitely tell this is like arcane in nature. Like you haven't heard. Oh yeah, there's guys who use crystals in Germany, but there's old folklore that spoke of glowing crystals that did some funky stuff and eventually ate away at your mind if you looked at them long enough.
Okay. And Constantine is looking at this thing in the mirrors. Val is holding it up, and he's trying to remember if he spent a lot of time with the Germans, with the SA and with the SS, and he's from a long line of spies. Right. So he tries to figure out if he recognizes anything about it.
So first of all, Killian, go and make a sanity roll, +1. Same reasons. This is kind of the, by the way, I'm just kind of introducing this as a thing. This is kind of the flip side of having high skill levels is in some things, like you can't unsee things that you know. So like you guys are blissfully ignorant of what Brian and Julian are seeing.
Will, right?
Will, yes.
It's great how succeeding in this game is just very shitty.
Ouch.
So you've heard of this thing called life.
Oh, damn. So you tied. I'm sorry. Let me, yeah. Damn it, where is my keeper's guide? Sorry. This is what I get for not having my books open when I start.
I've been trying to figure out while you're looking at that how to.
Sure.
I've updated my bio picture, but I can't figure out how to drop a picture into the scratch pad.
Oh, it's very slow in updating. We had this problem last time as well. It'll update eventually.
Gotcha.
Damn it, no, I'm not seeing it. Oh, duh, I renamed it. I'm stupid. Okay. Well, by the way, doing a search for insanity is maybe not the best thing to do in this game. Here we go. Okay, so when you tie, yeah, so you get the will drain and, oh, okay, actually, you know what? Oh, yeah, okay, no. Actually, you know what? You succeeded by 1. I did that wrong, so let me go ahead and, you don't have one of those. Brian, you do. So your effective will, then, you want to write down that it dropped by 1. That's only for the purpose of sanity rolls, though. I just want to make that clear. It's got nothing to do with anything else you might have to roll will against.
So it's actually -1 if you rolled, right?
Right. I mean, it lowers his effective will by 1, right? So instead of like rolling 40 plus 4, he's rolling 40 plus 3.
And you scratched out the thing beside me.
Yeah, because you actually did succeed. Because you succeeded that roll, you only get the will drop. You don't get the little boost against you.
Okay.
Like,
Thank you.
the way that apparently Constantine does. Ha, too late. Just kidding. I'll get rid of that too. That's great. In fact,
Do I actually mark off a point of sanity down here?
no, because you didn't. You did not. Actually, that's a good idea for what Louis did. You.
Where?
Sorry, I
What
just
did
saw
I
what
do?
you did on your thing. You added a little.
Oh, that.
I'm crazy little thing.
Yeah, but I'm not. So
Right.
I'm going to remove that. Well, you get any ideas?
Damn it. It doesn't want to let me do something. Oh, well, I'll just write in the text. So for, the time being, I'll say you're rattled then. Okay. All right. So, yes, I mean, that's like the idea. Like I said, there's just some things you can't unsee if you're smart enough. It's the unfortunate burden of being smart that I'm sure you're all burdened with in real life.
Not me.
Nope.
Locks.
So it's a really interesting piece of equipment.
Right, so is it my turn to have my sanity tested now then?
Oh, well, I mean, so in your case, I mean, like I said, like you haven't, it doesn't look, either the little insignia, which would have been the biggest chance, that stuff doesn't really look familiar to you at all. And I'm totally aware that you're from a long line of spies, and I do not use this lightly that you haven't heard of it.
That's good. I'm fine with that.
So I have one more question about it. Does it appear to be a receiver or a battery? Like, is it storing energy that it's pumping out, or is it receiving energy from an external source?
From what you can tell,
This
at
will
least
change
on
how I use it as a weapon.
this device, I mean, it's a very small crystal. It's like, the size of like maybe like a diamond that you'd have in an engagement ring, and not even that expensive of an engagement ring in the first, even at that. Like if Matthias proposed, no, I'm just kidding. No.
Excuse me?
You got weirdly personal all of a sudden.
Yeah, why?
I'm not sure.
I'm
who's
joking.
not-
I don't know what the fuck that was, John.
I'm not sure who's not good enough for who in that scenario.
No. But
I
seriously.
think my girlfriend is very well aware that I'm poor.
But no, but yeah, I mean, it's a very, very. My point is, it's a very, very small crystal. It looks like in this case that it's being used for power purposes. You don't know enough about the. I mean, it's a weird item. I mean, it could be used for a variety of things. Who knows? Maybe it could be used as to receive information as well. It's definitely being used as part of a bug, and it's like an old-fashioned, just radiometric, bug that just sends out a radio signal.
So I'm very comfortable with being able to modify the bug to do whatever I want. It's the interesting thing would be if it's a channel for power, then maybe I could make that into a much more powerful weapon.
Right. I mean, as it's being used right now, it's just being used to provide power. Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it's being used as part of a bug means it probably doesn't. There probably isn't like a lot of excess power there, but then again, who knows? It's you have no idea what it is. It could be like a little tiny nuclear bomb or something, and once again, you all have cancer and you're all died.
All right, so I'm just going to shield it so that it's not nobody can get a radio signal out of it. I don't know what the power source means, so I can't really shield that. And when we're in a place where it's a little bit safer to start poking around, I'll try to figure out what it's made of.
All right. Okay, so yeah, you can kind of separate the two items. Like there's a little light on the bug that gets dimmer as you move it away, and eventually you can move it far enough away to where the light isn't going on. But yeah, so for now anyway, you put those like in two different parts of your back or whatever, and you're good with that.
Well, I have the always making useful things stunt. The
Right.
point being that, and as well as scrounging, everything is useful.
Okay,
So one
sure.
way or another, I should be able to scrap together, a tinfoil hat for it, so that it's
Right.
not going to be able to transmit.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, it's obviated by the fact that you don't know exactly how it works, but yeah.
Well, but I
mean,
know
you
how
can-
radio works.
Right, exactly.
I'm not worried about the crystal. I'm just worried about the radio.
Okay, yeah. So you can you construct a Faraday cage. I'm just kidding. That might be a little advanced.
Not for this guy. Come on, mechanics plus 4.
But yeah, you can. Yeah, you like put it inside of a sheet of lead or something that you've got just sitting around in your pack for no other reason, and it's there. All right, so
Constantine
yeah.
asked Lazar to check if we brought any sandwiches.
He is too impulsive. He did not. He totally forgot the
if
sandwiches.
I had any sandwiches, they would be eaten by now.
We should have gotten some sandwiches on the train.
Well, you know what happened last time you tried to go to the dinner car?
It's true. People's heads did explode.
They did.
Speaking of which, I'm just counting on running into some Nazis at this farm that we're going to, because apparently there are more Nazis here than in Nazi Germany. So we may want to. I don't know what everyone's capabilities are in a fight. I've seen some examples. I know that if you want heads exploding.
Well, yeah, the head exploding guy is not here. Stanislav.
Well,
is a
Okay,
sniper.
if you want,
Well,
if you
you
want them,
split
if
the
you
one
want them
dudes.
caved in with
Yeah,
some
well,
kind
you
of
got
blunt
me.
device.
I have a rifle that I can't. Well, that I can use as a
Okay,
club.
I'm quite handy with my fists and my feet, and I've got a knife and a pistol, which I can
I'm
also
more,
use.
I prefer to
I'm
remain
going to have you pick up my rifle with
physical.
the bayonet on the end of it. Very, very good with this rifle.
All right. And what was John saying?
As I'm sorry, not me, John, the character.
John Smythe.
I prefer to remain distant from fisticuffs. I do. I have this Luger that I took off one of the soldiers.
Oh, that's right. We yeah, okay. I remember now.
All right, and Val, you any good in a fight?
I'm okay, but I'm better at building things for fighting with.
All right. So you're trying to just put this together like on the. That's awesome. Like in the car, like while
Yeah.
you're. Okay.
It's
Okay, so-
what other time would be better?
Right. So try to put this together. So okay. So number one, you're just kind of scrounging something together that you don't really know how it works.
But it's producing
plus-
electricity to power an electrical device.
Right.
This is an electrical device. I can treat it like a black box, blue glowy battery, and use it. Why not?
Sure. Yeah. So you don't really know what it's doing. There's like the time constraint. You're in kind of a cramped condition, being stuck in a car with 4 other people.
We're all gonna die, aren't we?
Yeah. So
And
I'm thinking you're.
we don't have any sandwiches.
That is not going to be an easy roll to make. I'll tell you right now. So I'm going to say +5.
Okay, so I'm working with mechanics.
Right.
This is
Yeah, so it's a
doing
mechanics
this
roll, right?
In part because of unshakable self-confidence, which causes chaos. So that's trouble.
Yes. So,
So we
so what you can do there, I mean, if you want, and I mean, I won't compel you this early. I mean, if you want it to go badly awry, you can self-compel, give yourself a fate point, and have it fail.
No,
Or
I'm
you can
not
try to
aiming-
make the roll.
Yeah, I'm not aiming to make it fail. Okay. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I could.
Well, so what you want to do is you want to make the roll first, and then if you fail the roll, then you can start adding in aspects, trading fate points for aspects.
So I'm going to make the roll, and I do want to hear you tell me a little bit more about what you thought of morbid ingenuity meaning. I mean, aside from making weapons of death and destruction.
Hey, Morbius here.
It actually is. I feel like exactly the kind of thing that you could maybe invoke in this situation because, yeah, I mean, you're like, oh, I have no idea what this does, and it frankly spooks me a little bit that I'm even using it, but I'm going to turn it into something.
But I'm going to turn it into a weapon to incapacitate people.
So I mean, you did fail, but only by 1. So you can actually spend in this case a fate point on the morbid ingenuity,
Okay.
to invoke that aspect to push it up to a 5, which would then make it. Actually, that would tie. So you would succeed at a minor cost. You could if you found a way to invoke a second aspect, you could get a 7, which would be a straight up success.
Well, the second aspect I would think would be the making my mark, because this would speak directly to avarice and lust for power on my part. If I can figure out how to make this work, even right now, I have a huge leg up on any competition in building anything. I mean, I could write my own check.
I'm trying to see how that we can apply that to like a specific specific situation. I think I'm going to go ahead and allow that for now. But yeah, I mean, generally you want to have it be really specific and germane to the situation. But yeah, I think that works. So basically you're putting it together. You're like, God, I can't quite get this to work. What's going on? And then you know what? Why don't I just cross these wires together this way? That'll be good enough. I have some morbid ingenuity with this. Then you're like, oh, you know what would make this really awesome is if I add this screwdriver, I don't know, to the mix.
I'm envisioning that this is going inside something about the size and shape of a flashlight. Probably was a flashlight. So maybe adding, I don't know, a knife point to it for the electrodes, just to make it extra special and threatening.
All right. So you've got it in there. You got like the little crystal is sitting like on the edge of it. It's it's kind of unstable, but it does have a. So we'll just go ahead and kind of create this on the fly then.
So I think that cost you 2 fate points. Did I?
Yeah. So you've got the 2 cards up there. You want to just deal 2 of those then out from your deck. Doesn't really matter what color they are, or what what suit or whatever they are.
And how do I deal with it? Just drag them out?
Yeah, exactly.
And just put them anywhere, or?
Yeah, just put them on the. There we go.
Okay.
Whoops. Just denotes that you've played them. Okay, so you've got yourself. Whoops. I want to make that bigger. We'll call this. Come on. Oh. A blue crystal taser.
Blue crystal dagger taser.
Does this predate the Thomas Swift novels?
This goes to show that engineers are generally terrible at naming their inventions.
Well, I'll let you call it whatever you want to call it. It's a weapon 1 because of the dagger, but otherwise, let's see. We'll also give it the aspect.
The Nazi bang.
You can call it that. I'll let you call it.
Blue lightning. One of my best friends from high school ended up as a nuclear engineer. He works for Atomic Energy of Canada Limited. There are places in the world he's not allowed to go because he would be kidnapped for what he knows how to do.
Wow.
He's also terrible at naming things.
Well, I had a friend who worked at Chalk River for a while.
Yeah.
Because they've got one of the most terrifying police forces in the world.
All right.
All right, so that's your little thing that you created. By the way, this is a normally to invoke the blue lightning thing. It costs you a fate point. This is a little box here is for a free invoke, basically. So you get to do that once without using up a fate point.
Okay.
So you've got that going. I could be really mean and compel your morbid ingenuity to zap somebody else with it, but I don't think I will.
Well, you could do that, although I thought of the same thing. I'm just thinking that given they just killed 2 people and we are definitely being followed and there's probably more than one way we're being followed, I'm going to have a chance real soon.
All right. On the other hand, you did knock out their bug, which is may well be how they were tracking you guys. So there's always a chance that you won't see anybody.
I would be very surprised, my trade draft says, if they only had one way of keeping tabs on us.
Right.
I'm sure they know about the farm. That just seems like a given.
So just to recap a little bit, they never did break into that house. So, and they've kind of been following you guys around. So it's entirely possible that they don't. So, putting that out there.
Well, we're going to find out anyway. Look, I figure we're getting pretty close.
Yeah, you guys are basically out on the farm. I had the name of this town, but now I don't remember it.
What was it, the York Moors?
Yeah, I
Salisbury or something?
Salisbury is way to the south. That's where Stonehenge is.
Yorkshire, if you need a town name.
What was that?
Thirsk.
There's also, it's in Craven County, so that might have been part of why I chose it.
Thirsk in Craven County.
I don't think so.
No.
Okay, while you're figuring that out, I'm going to get a beer,
Okay,
if that's all right.
Yep.
No,
I'm gonna go use the loo.
all right.
And I don't care if it's all right.
Wait for a small break.
I hope we're on the road, right? We're at the farm.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you're not at the farm, but at the town outside, where the farm is. It's just a little tiny town that, it's like east something, and there's only 22 different instances of east. That's great. That's a good English place. That'll be what we are. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is great.
Can we scout this thing on foot maybe first?
I'm sorry, what was that? I didn't.
Your mic is kind of like you're at the bottom of the well.
Right. Yeah, it was sounding early. It sounded good earlier, but yeah, now it seems.
How about now?
Nope.
Oh man.
Hops and bolts. What?
It's an Ontario beer. It's extremely good.
I see the hops, and I get my hipster osity gets a little
I like
out there.
bitters and stuff like that. So
Yeah, there's the not to get all Pacific Northwest, but there's the Seattle kind of thing. Is like we're usually
there you go. Here we go.
Well, it's just throughout the U.S. and Canada, there's the whole beer microbrew revolution, which is great. I mean, I think it's fantastic. There's all these new smaller beer companies coming out, but like so many of them, like the revolution consists of we're going to put 5 times as many hops into our beer as normally.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
Over here, our big success in microbrewing is iceberg beer. It's nothing to do with hops, but the water comes exclusively from melted icebergs.
So
That sounds like some hippie bullshit right there.
I'm just thinking it sounds like fuck the environment. I'm drinking beer.
No, the ones that come down to around the St. John's area, they get these massive boats go out, and they tow them in, and then they're like chipped down and melt, and they're going to melt anyway, and they're just melted into beer.
And therein lies the fuck the environment.
Yeah.
Well, they were just going to use them as aircraft carriers anyway.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Yeah. So sorry, Brian, you were mentioning you were wanting to scout the farm. So the farm is out a little ways. You've got a map all the way out to the farm, but the farm itself is out a little ways from the little town proper. The town, by the way, is Barnby. It's massive. The entire place in 2001 had a population of 79, so roughly half that at this point in time. But it does have, it's not really much more than a few houses, and there's a general store there. You guys mentioned you didn't pick up a sandwich, so you're very hungry. You all have the negative aspect of hungry. Kidding.
All right, we should have a cuppa at the local pub.
Yeah,
I think the negative aspect would be peckish.
Let's skip
So-
Lazar could go for a bacon sandwich.
All right. Now, just so you guys know, Val is 15, and he looks younger.
Yeah, you're in England though, so
I'm just
That's
saying.
cool.
the
Well,
drinking age is like 7 in the
He was-
1940.
He worked for the mob, which got its start running rum and beer. He's had a drink or two. I'm just saying. It's something to
Right.
be aware of.
I take it that Constantine just takes, that little fact that a child has joined them as kind of in the same kind of sentiment as Magic Gates and stuff, and
So
has
that's
exploding
wrong.
on trades. And by this point, Constantine, the consummate spy, is just like, okay, whatever, I'll just do this
Right.
thing. And
The general lack of professionalism of this organization.
More proof
It's-
that you're working with a big league operation.
Hey, you just watched me turn an Eldritch device into a taser with knives on it.
now I watched you mess about on the back seat with something.
Yeah.
I'm not a mechanic, so I don't know what you did.
It looked like you made a really nice toy.
Right.
He was tinkering.
Well, at least he hasn't said anything yet, because I would test it on him if I had to. All right, moving on.
But yeah, I'm basically sorry. This place consists. I mean, there's a couple houses. There's the pub and there's a general store, and that's pretty much all there is in this quote unquote town. Then of course, there is a road that goes out. So you'd mentioned that you were going to stop at the pub.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, I think we should
Yeah.
maybe ask some locals about things.
Yeah.
Killian, did you say out loud that you want to go ahead and scout?
Yeah, absolutely. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, your mic's a bit iffy, but it's fucking...
It's a bit muddy, but you're audible.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I would like to scout ahead the farm from a distance, and I think I could stay pretty invisible. Is it a woody kind of area around the farm by chance?
Yeah, the whole area is fairly woody. I mean, we're kind of like deep into the Yorkshire moor territory. In fact, you're just gonna. There's a picture of the town here. There you go. There's the Wikipedia page on it if you want to look at that. I'd upload the picture, but I'm too lazy. I mean, it's there's this, it's forested. There's trees about, lots of hills to get lost in.
Okay, so Constantine, like as we get out of the car, Constantine puts the road map on the hood of the car so we can have a
Sure.
look.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. So okay. So there's the town. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to use. Sorry. This is going to look really, really classy here. So there's the road here of the town is out here, and then there's a road that leads away from it, and then there's a road that goes down a little ways there, and then the farm is out. Come on. Oh, that's right. There's a little lake out here, and then the farm is out in that area.
Okay, so Killian, how would you feel if you go ahead on by foot and you scout the area, and then we go into the pub and ask around a bit, get some food in. We'll bring you some food as well, and then we'll make our way slowly towards the farm by car and stop. You can meet us on the road, little ways ahead of the farm, and tell us what you found.
Absolutely. Good idea. I'll do exactly that.
Okay, so we're going to split the party then. All right. I think we might have lost Steven.
Nothing bad ever happened from that.
It's like Scooby-Doo.
Wait, which one of us is black? This is a horror game, right?
Artem's Jewish, so I mean, there's.
Well, Val is
that's the closest we've got, really.
Val is 180 black.
I'm filling the ethnic quota.
No, Val is very, very mixed. He's Irish, black, Chinese, and Indian.
Oh wow,
Man, like Tiger Woods out there.
A little bit. I'm only half of that kind of mix. So
We did lose Steven. Hopefully we'll get him back soon. And I apologize. Morvis, are you there? I don't know if you were going to be playing here this week. I never really heard from you.
Yeah, I snuck in.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't know either.
All right. I mean, I never got a character sheet from you, so I mean, if you
I sent it to you.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
I think you sent me the character creation sheet, not the full-on character sheet with all the skills and stuff.
I sent you both.
Did you? Okay.
Let me double check.
Yeah, I see Julian, Stevens, Artems. Oops.
I sent you char sheet. Second email.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. And when it's pants. And you sent it to my Gmail address? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have the date that you sent that? I apologize.
19th.
The 19th. Okay. Oh yeah. God, I'm looking straight at it. All right. Take a quick look at it. So, hey, great. So yeah. So I apologize for not including you in here earlier. I saw you pop in. So yeah. So I guess if we can put that around, like they meet you out here somehow.
I can be in the bar.
There you go.
seems reasonable.
Sure.
Classic.
What are you doing in the bar in Barnby in the middle of nowhere?
Well, I would have assumed I was recruited already, and they
Sure.
shipped me out here for some reason. I got lost, and now I'm scamming away for some free beers and food.
That's awesome.
Is Morvis the character name?
That's my online name.
Roderick Rildu looks like.
Am I the only one for whom John's sound is lagging?
Yes.
Bap, bap.
Okay.
Nope.
I'll go reconnect.
Yeah, I don't know where Steven went. Speaking of which, but
So Pants, your character's name is Stanislaw. Is Pants still here? Pants is gone.
Pants is not here this week.
Okay.
We ain't got no pants.
So sorry, I missed. Just really quickly adding Morvis's character sheet in here, so we can put it on the page. Where am I? There we go.
What is Morvis's name?
The character's name is Roderick Riddledew.
Roderick.
Yep.
Well, you get another capybara. You get a capybara, and you get a capybara.
Capybaras for everyone. I did update my avatar.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, those do take quite a while to show up. So yeah. All right. Okay, so yeah, there's Morvis down at the bottom, also represented by a capybara. When in doubt, show a capybara.
The name of his porn film.
Darn, I don't know if did we lose Steven like forever? Or
Yeah,
is he
he's
just...
out of chat as well.
Okay. Must
So
be
I'm
some.
guessing connection problem.
We just lost Louis as well.
Matthias is just relogging, I think.
Yeah, I think he logged out and back in.
Yep, he's back.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so we'll move on just without Steven for the time being, and once he comes back in, he can come back in. So at this point, okay, so you said you were scamming Roderick / Morvis. You were scamming the people there out of some drinks. Hello, are you there?
Morris?
man.
I'm guessing that's a no.
Oh, I think we lost him now.
His avatar
that's fun.
changed.
Yeah, I think that's the because he. Well, hello, Morvis, are you there? Okay. All right. Well, while
The
we're
locals he was trying to scam got him.
Well, since it's Constantine is going to be at the farm, right? And he's here.
No,
Killian, right?
Killian's
No.
going to the
Oh, it's
farm.
Killian. You know, I'm sorry.
all right.
I ordered.
Okay.
There you go.
I don't know
Okay,
what
so-
that was.
Oh, no worries. All right. So I want to.
Scamming the locals for beer and food.
Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and say that you started doing that, like kind of right as they. Yeah. So you I have no idea what you just wrote there. I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah. So let's go ahead and say that you started doing that, like right when you about the time that they got in. So. All right, so there are at this place. Sorry, pulling up in my adventure notes, which I really do have, I swear. Yeah, so there's an older guy. You know, you're in the war, so most of the actual people from like 20 to 40 or so are
Gone fighting?
yeah, gone fighting, or at least out in more places that like enemies might actually invade. Since we're in like August of 1940, like right about the time where they're on the verge of maybe expecting Operation Sea Lion to occur. But yeah, so it's there's an older guy in his 50s who runs the place and has the bar, and there's a woman who operates as like the waitress in there as well, who's also older.
/ hooker?
Sure.
Okay,
So
well, Constantine tries on his best Northern English accent
Okay.
and basically walks up to the bar and orders a pint.
He says something completely. You have no idea what he's saying because it's Northern English. Kidding. It's not Glasgow.
You just have to be drunk for that to make sense.
Top of the morning, Troy.
Oh God! Oh dear! No, don't do that. Don't. Just don't.
Yeah, we're hungry, like.
Jesus
That
Christ!
sounds-
Like Dick Van Dyke come back.
Yeah.
That sounded more like the core. You're very hungry. That sounded more like Cornwall. They're up
And
kind of
you're
towards the north.
mixing your badly done stereotypes as well, because top of the morning is so Irish.
Yeah, you're right. True.
Well, when your history with this stuff is mostly Monty Python, you know.
I like to punch producers in the mouth. That was Yorkshire because that's Jeremy Clarkson. Okay, so yeah, so all right. Okay, what can I get for you today in an English accent?
Hashtag accent.
Well, yeah, Constantine just orders a pint of the dark stuff.
And Val from
So
wherever-
ale then. Okay.
Val would say, and yo, Connie, one for me too, please.
Connie's not loving the Connie thing, but
That's not why Val does it.
I think Lazar would like a bacon sandwich.
Well,
Yeah.
we do have plenty of bacon, that's for sure. And by some of the dark stuff, you can have ale, and we also have ale.
Yeah.
okay,
There's
that yeah, the whole pub owner thing, spot on.
Exactly. Also, you're in England, so I'll tell you right now, it's room temperature. Have fun with that.
Yeah. Okay, so I
Fortunately
take it
for
we
you,
just, before we get bogged down in the details, we get drinks and food.
Yes, yeah, you get so being Dutch, you're not exactly enthused by the quality of the ale, but
No, and I'm looking for ways to split the bill.
I'll pick up the tab.
But
Val,
Lazar's doing that as well.
no, Val just says, I'll take care of it, then picks up the tab.
Oh, nice.
I'm
Wow.
going to bring children on missions more often.
You're a mensch.
man.
Resources +2.
Okay, yeah, so it's a +0 to make. I mean, it's not
I
exactly a
wouldn't
huge
expect it to
expenditure.
be, a vast amount, but he does like showing off what little wealth he has amassed.
Yeah, so go ahead and make the roll just to make sure you've got enough loose change in your pocket. Oh yeah, you did get it. Okay, so yeah, you have just enough.
Okay, so as we're bringing the food and the drinks back to the tables, Constantine kind of sticks around at the bar and tries to have a little chat with the bartender, telling him that we're traveling through, we're on our way for business, and we've never been around these parts before. So he's just asking around, what's this town like? How are things going around here? Are the mines still open?
We don't get a lot of visitors out here. He looks at you, eyeing you suspiciously. Don't know what you're trying to do out here, sir.
Constantine just lies. We got a roadmap, but I'm not fantastic at reading them, so we got turned around a bit. We're trying to get back on the M4 towards Bradford, but we're taking a little forced detour, and we got a bit peckish on the way.
Oh well, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna go over and join Connie, and using empathy I was gonna use empathy to try to get a better sense of whether this guy is actually hiding something or just suspicious that we are strangers.
All right. Okay. So first and foremost, Matthias, go ahead and make a deceive roll. I think you're just
Alrighty.
creating an advantage here. I think.
Let me just get my sheet up. Oh, hello.
Oh yeah, you're pretty good at deceive.
Yeah.
Yikes! Yeah, I'd say so. So,
Serious.
all right. So yeah, they are buying what you're saying. Let's see here. Just put in here, eating out of the palm of your hand.
Nice.
Excellent.
Nice roll. That means he's a good person, right?
Yeah, he's way better than Lazar.
I think I heard that. Lazar heard that and he doesn't like it.
Okay, then I'm sorry, Val. What are you doing?
I was just going to use empathy in an attempt to understand whether his suspicion was
Okay.
about us, or that about our story, or whether it was something maybe darker.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and make empathy roll. He's not exactly the super high willpower guy, so +1 is going to be what you're countering.
Okay, so 1.
Okay, that's what. Oh, that was your roll. Okay. So you tied. So, yeah, so let's see. What you're doing here is in effect creating an advantage again. Let's see. I don't know how you'd be able to use that for you, but that's what you pick up.
Welcome to Yorkshire.
You're right.
Well, that would
So
mean...
what? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, what Constantine tries to do now is, he's noticing that he has a bit of rapport with this barman. So he just starts kind of blagging him. He starts, he says, I used to have an auntie who lived down this way. And he just kind of starts cold reading the guy just to give the impression that he has ties to the region. That,
Okay.
although he's never been there, his old auntie was from there. So he heard the stories.
Right. Okay. So, all right. So while you're doing that, I'm going to switch to Brian here for just a moment, so that he doesn't fall asleep. So you're out. I assume out walking out towards the little fork in the road.
I just left you a note. Did that update to you yet?
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, you're not seeing like symbols necessarily. I mean, you get out. There is a so out around the fork.
I'm sorry, when
and
I
leading-
see symbols like on barns in Pennsylvania, they have big round hex.
Right.
That's what I'm looking for, that type of.
Right. Yeah. They don't have those in York. So, unfortunately, you're not seeing those. I mean, you do see like let's see. Sorry, pull up your character sheet here really quick just to remind me of what your. Did we fill that in? No, we did not. Okay. Remind me of what your high skills are. So you had high lore, and what were your other +4s? Sorry.
Will.
Okay. All right. So I mean, so you get out there. If you want to make a like an investigate roll for the area, so lore wise, you don't really notice anything out in the ordinary. I mean, the kind of thing that everybody notices is that this area out near the T is like there's a lot of plant growth out here and a pretty good amount leading back to the lake as well. But you don't see anything that like is tripping you off, so making you say, "Oh, there's a."
Sure, yeah, that's more of a secondary thought. I mean, if I see any healing herbs, I might grab them. Other than that, I'm really more focused on trying to find out what's going on at this farm location.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you don't see, so, right, so if you want to go ahead and make a survival roll, ideally in the forest, if not, then out, whatever outside of your specialty, to kind of notice anything out there, that would be great. And
So it looks like
too.
Steven's internet went down. He's calling them to see what's happening.
Oh, nice. It's a very opportune time to do that too.
And he said, proceed without him.
Oh, we are. Okay, so with that, yeah, there is. I guess if there's something to tell, there's very little movement coming from anywhere. The barn. You get up to it. I mean, it's still. The barn was burned down like 25 years ago. Which, if you'll remember, is why that guy got sent to the institution. And it's still, it's still burned down. There's just the couple decades old remains of it sitting out there. There doesn't seem to be a lot going on. There's another building like back behind it that also isn't showing any movement. It's also, just basically ruins at this point.
I guess just basically scout the whole area, look for the best ways to maybe approach without being seen, and maybe make a little hand map or something of the area intelligence for when the others arrive.
Okay. All right. So I mean, are you just staying out near the lake, or are you wanting to go down here to the there's this little fork down here as well?
Oh yeah, sure. I planned on scouting the whole thing.
Okay. All right. So we'll come back to you then for more information on that. And I'm sorry, Roderick, was there anything that you were doing at this point?
Sorry, I would have been just at the other end of the bar talking to one of the patrons or something.
Okay.
Probably, as I said, scamming them for beer and food.
Right. Yeah, the folks there are, I mean, there's just mostly pretty old people here now. I mean, even the barkeep is at an age where he's probably serving in the home guard during his off hours. But otherwise, yeah, there's not a lot of folks around there want to talk to you about the English Civil War. Now I'm trying to think of things that happened in England in the 1890s or whatever. Yeah. Well, so if you're detecting deceive, you'd actually be using empathy to notice that.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking in terms of taking the lay of the land in the bar, looking for anybody who would be doing something that would indicate that they're after us or know us or are aware of our coming, that kind of approach.
Right. Well, yeah, both you and Louis, I think, have high tradecraft, so I'm telling both of you this at the same time. Yeah, there doesn't really look like anybody's tailing you, the way that there was the guy in the train and the various places in London. It's actually one of the nice things about being out in the country is that there just aren't a lot of people and everybody seems to know everybody. And
would he perhaps seem to be out of place?
Well, there is the one guy who is scamming dudes off of out of drinks. In fact, he does look out of place. And come to think of it, yeah, he did. I guess he would be making perhaps some furtive glances back at you.
So, quietly, in case any of the rest of the guys around the table haven't picked up on it, I'll just mention, check out the guy in the corner there. He doesn't look like he's from around here either.
Yeah, that's probably something I would notice as well.
Yeah, Constantine's probably not catching it because he's chatting up the barman.
I mean, as far as you're concerned, Lazar, nobody looks like they're like your people.
Well, yeah, not my people, but
I was actually like kind of hoping that you try to make a contact roll in York.
Out here, like that doesn't make any sense for a gangster.
Right, and York would be awesome because I don't know if you know anything about the history of York, but there was rather famously like a big purge of Jews and before the First Crusade.
Yeah, that's somewhat before my time.
Right. I'm just saying there are not very many Jews out there since then.
Yeah, I think English countryside is not where my strengths are in terms of contacts.
Lazar, you have gangster contacts too, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah. He's got some shady underworld contacts.
But yeah. I think I'd be noticing somebody who's out of place, like somebody who's sort of attracting the locals' attention. I think I'd probably notice Roderick sticking out.
Well, I mean, you're not super duper inured to English customs, so you can't tell necessarily whether or not those guys are they're angry. They're suspicious of him just because they act like that all the time, or if it's for what. Okay, and
I think he'd probably be a Nazi. Like honestly, if primed by our experience,
here comes the impulse control.
Primed by our experience on the train, I would think he's probably.
You had better fucking hide, Roderick, because your head's not safe.
Yeah, you know what? I do think your poor impulse control is going to be. You're going to walk right up to that guy and ask if he's a Nazi. I'm sorry.
So am I asking?
Are you gonna?
Can I roll for what I was doing, blagging the barman first?
Just before Lazar goes up and starts pounding heads, I just want to know if this is before or after Val has made a comment. Because if he makes a comment, then Lazar starts moving. Val's going with him.
I think he's walking up to the guy as you're walking away from him.
Oh, I wouldn't have gone up to him per se. I was just trying to, like, from the table.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Land.
I think he made that observation at roughly the same time that you saw it. But I mean, he's walking away as you're talking, because he's not really listening to. So are you accepting that compel then, Lazar?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. All right. So there you go.
Yeah, I would totally be. I mean, if he's heading towards the guy I just thought was at a place, I'd be heading in that direction too. Palming my taser.
All right.
Okay,
Sorry.
Constantine knows Lazar quite well, as he's been his cellmate for quite a while, and we've had some experiences along the way on this little adventure. So as soon as he notices that look on Lazar's face, that prelude to mindless violence, as Lazar launches himself at this stranger, Constantine just tells the publican to wait for a second, and he peels off, and he just immediately slips an arm around Lazar's shoulder and just goes, easy mate, let me just talk to this barman first, and then we can do whatever it is you're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, as far as you're concerned, he's trying to talk you out of confronting a Nazi. You weren't necessarily going to hit him, but I mean, you were going to confront him.
Right. So, I think
does my aspect, John? Does my aspect play Lazar's cellmate? Does that play into this at all?
Well, I mean, I can compel you to go along with him if you're like, if you want to use it that way.
Oh, I see.
Because that would make this more interesting.
Yeah.
They also they kind of stand out as well, so I would probably notice.
Right. Yeah, you definitely notice the group of four dudes walking.
I do have
into the
a
bar.
body language reader stunt, which allows me to use survivals in place of empathy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Nice.
So can I try to see if he kind of looks like a Nazi or could be a friendly?
Well, yeah, I don't think.
Or is this not?
Right. I mean, you looking at him. I would say he sees you walking up to him, and he definitely looks tense, and it looks like right. You can kind of. I mean, see, he's been filling, feeding the barkeep like a constant line of BS since he walked into the room, which is probably what caught your eye about him in the first place. But I mean, there's not anything. It's not like he's periodically going, like, oh, and by the way, we're currently killing off all the Jews in our area. I mean, how about those Arsenal gunners?
Yeah, I'm not just with. So Constantine is trying to talk me out of this. He's between me and Roderick.
Quite kind of emphatically.
Yeah, and so I'm just not sure how poor impulse control and how does this work mechanically, really? I don't.
Well, I mean, I gave you a fate point. That means that we need that you made the situation more complicated than it otherwise would have. You just would have been like, oh, whatever, he's a guy.
Right.
So it's up to you how far you want to act on that. But
so is there no turning it around after he accepts the fate point?
Oh, jeez. Okay, so apparently, while you're busy talking,
I think there are only
Lazar
two choices. There's only two options for me. I think there's one to try and intimidate him into telling me who he is, or basically taking a swing at him.
Right. I was assuming you were going to be doing the first, but that's up to you.
Yeah,
I will say that.
Okay, so that's what I'll do then.
So while Constantine was trying to talk you out of that, apparently Val just decided to walk up, and I'll give you a self-compel for that. And apparently it's doing what you were going to do, because he's overconfident.
Okay.
So Val's opening line would just be, so you're not from around here either.
That was to you, Roderick.
Oh. No, not really.
And actually, you know what? I'm going to stop you guys for just a second right there, so we can go back to Brian. You made demolitions rolls to set up bombs.
It's my job.
So like, where were you wanting those to? I think. I mean, it's up to you exactly where you want them to be, I guess.
Just a little pre-thought. A possible escape route. If we're being chased, like some claymores somewhere, or if we needed a diversion or something out in the woods.
Okay. Well, I'll just say that you put one like right around there, and then another one like goes like, whoops, that's a little bit too long, but like right around there. And so that gives you the road to head back to the town, which is at the little T intersection up here.
But yeah, map. I don't have a lot of screen resolution.
Sorry. So I marked it in red.
Copy.
Little squiggles there. So I've got the like general locations there. You've got them marked, although they actually, let's see. So you actually made those rolls pretty well. Although you were operating with just crap that was in your backpack, and we didn't really have a lot of stuff that we took. So yeah, I think you just made that roll, period, which means, yeah, they're explosives. They're their own item. They kind of act like their own character. Basically, I will put up here that, sorry, I'm just noting on here. Oops, not what I wanted, sorry. Text.
When I said claymore, that's like a Vietnam thing, I'm guessing.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, that literally claymores, just like jerry rig like booby traps. I'm thinking like just you put like something like on a string. It's tied to bomb a grenade to a string so that when somebody trips over the string, they the grenade, the pin comes out of the grenade, that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, something that I can trigger myself.
Okay, so it's something that you. So this is actually something that you're detonating remotely then.
Let's say I set up two. One that's no. How can I explain it? I'm guessing I would have to trigger it, but it wouldn't be like a remote control device. I'd have to. I don't know whether there's a plunger. I guess I didn't have that on me. Some kind of device that I would run and explode myself. In other words, if we're running away from people chasing us, there might be a switch along the way that I hit that triggers it behind us.
Right. I mean, that was my initial thought, which is why you'd maybe set up a booby trap, because if you're running away, your guys just elude the booby trap and then they run into it.
Whatever works.
I mean, if you have a
I have no specific same idea. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, so I mean, if you have better idea than the string thing, then by all means go for it. You can also, I mean, the one thing that you found down here, the little fork to the south, is there is another abandoned house. You haven't checked what's inside of that house, but although it does seem to be actually. It's not that abandoned. I mean, everything, it looks like it's pretty well kept. There's just nobody inside of it. There is there are, some rudiments that you could use to manufacture a bomb, like, a couple gas cans, like half filled with gas, that kind of thing. If you want to make something, bigger than what you'd make with a grenade, which, by the way, Artem, I think that means that you've got a grenade as well.
Oh, dear God.
Wait. How did I get a grenade?
Let's say that you guys got them at York, like once you stepped in. I just don't want to think of like what would have happened if you would have had a grenade on the train. I mean, you have poor impulse control, but you're not stupid, so maybe you wouldn't have used it.
Or instead, Section M just went, oh, the journey up there went really well. Here, have some grenades.
Jolly.
Like, or even better, perhaps you found them in the car.
Okay.
Some potato mashers.
All right.
It's the Nazi grenades that have the little
Yeah,
stick.
I got you.
All right. Okay, so you're doing that then, setting those up out in the
Yeah, and
out there.
I'll check the house if I can get to it without being seen. But if it's real open, I don't want to get real close. I'd rather wait for the group and just let them know about my scout.
Yeah, I mean it's a farmhouse in the midst of a farm. What do they? I think they use
Fields.
garlic out there. Yeah, there's like a you're rolling plains. The farm's in the middle of it. I mean, it is pretty out in the open. It's not overgrown with weeds, so it does look like it was used fairly. It's been utilized fairly recently. There is a truck parked in front of it, but there doesn't seem to be any movement in the house.
I'd like to booby trap the car as well.
Oh man.
Whoa.
Why are there two of you? Wow.
Yeah, why
What
did
happened?
you double up all of a
Oh,
sudden?
okay. Well, now there's
Sorry, I was experimenting. It's gone.
Morbid
All right.
ingenuity?
Good times for the
It didn't come from nowhere. It didn't come from nowhere.
All right. So okay. So yeah, you can booby trap the car there.
The poor strange family's car.
All right. Okay. And so yeah. So yeah, go ahead and make a demolitions roll to set that. It's pretty. I mean, that's going to be pretty easy to booby trap, but so like maybe only a +1. So that means you succeeded with style. So okay, let's go and add Booby. Whoops, not Bobby.
And that's exactly the moment that the little old lady who lives in the house decides to go to church.
Yeah, nobody seems to be moving outside of it. All right, so that means you do get like the free aspect with 2 free invokes on it. What kind of special thing do you think that this booby trap would do, maybe? Or what special aspect of that would there be?
Oh, it'll disable the car without hurting anybody in it.
Aw!
Yeah, that's not how Lazar would do it.
Right.
It's not how Val would do it either.
Just saying.
Constantine's just in a corner weeping.
I'm trying to think of how they would do that just by...
Takes out the tires.
It's not really demolitions though. Like you could maybe like rig a grenade in the engine block or something. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, you are using... I mean, that's the thing. Demolitions tends not to do things that don't hurt people. Especially with a
Not
car.
a delicate art.
Right.
Okay, I'm just trying to be creative.
Oh no, it's all good. I'm just...
Remember that scene in Casino?
It blows up the car, and the car drives down the hill and takes out the bus as well.
That's just,
Yeah, I mean, I'm only asking because I can't think of anything offhand that would be a special aspect. I could put something on there like fiery inferno, maybe.
Something mild like that, yeah.
There we go. Okay, so I'll put that, and then you get, if you ever need to use this, then you can use the, you got 2 aspects you can use, and that is, it's gonna mark this.
At the end of the session, it blows up. We can all walk away from it without looking.
Yeah.
Will look really, really cool.
While the music plays in the background.
Right.
Lazar probably covered in someone's blood.
It's down there, by the way.
As long as it's not your own.
It's the Michael Bay modification to the car.
And like Constantine is the one guy who looks back. He's like,
Disappointed.
all right, so
and from that point, if I don't see anything else, I'll just head to the meeting point.
okay, all right, so you're working on that at the moment while these guys are working on this. I will so we'll go back to you guys then. Sorry, so where we last were, you were about to confront Roderick. Actually, I think you said, "Hey, you're not from around here, are you?" And he's like, "No, I'm not."
So I would assume that M told.
Although
me
I
he's
feel
supposed
like
to meet
Sorry, what was that, Roderick?
I was going to say that M would tell me that I was supposed to meet some people.
right, yeah, they said, yeah, meet up with Constantine, the world famous spy, master of disguise.
So he says, No, I'm not from around here, and I'll say, so did M send you, or was it somebody else? I've got my new taser device in hand. I mean, hidden in my jacket, but in hand, just in case the answer is Actung.
I think Lazar yelled,
So-
he's a goddamn Nazi.
So I feel like I've already compelled you to do that, so I'm not going to give you another one, but
Yeah, I think that's my compel. That
Right.
was for the compel that, yeah.
right. So that just kind of shuts everybody up. The bartender dives behind the counter. The old people are like, they're too old to move.
So you mean they're meat shields?
We'll meet you.
There's an old man right in back of him. He's like,
Okay.
"You're Nazi."
Well, I'm overconfident, but I'm also amongst people who are older than me, and one of them is clearly a thug who may know what's going on. So I'll tase him.
No,
You're gonna tase
I would have
Roderick. Okay.
really here with them, but I was looking for Constantine.
Yeah, unfortunately, somebody yelled you were a Nazi first.
Yeah, and I think that was your. I think that works as your previous.
Okay,
compel, so-
at this point, Constantine just kind of oversees the situation, and he goes, "God damn it!" And he turns and he gets a pack of cigarettes out of his coat, and he walks to the pub door, and he just slips outside to have a smoke. Because he is from a long line of spies, and he's a professional, and he's not used to this kind of shit. So.
Well, that's because we're not spying, dear.
By the way, that was I think that counts as a self-compel.
Oh boy.
All right, so okay, that was where you get to see how that works too. Val, go ahead and roll fight.
I got 1 point of fight.
Okay, and then Morvis, you're rolling athletics to try and dodge out of the way of him.
Or I can't just vanish before he even gets close enough.
Well, at this point, I
Use
think
my
I'm
stealth.
I'm within arm's reach of you.
Yeah, I mean stealth is a good skill to use in many situations. This would not be one of them, unfortunately.
Sorry, you said fight?
Athletics, actually.
Yeah, I rolled 0 on fight.
So you don't have a lot you have to beat. Yeah, so you easily
Dodge out.
beat him. In fact, yeah, dodge out of the way actually so well. That's basically success with style. You get a
I
little
have him
boost
tase
on-
Lazar instead.
That would be an excellent outcome here.
So,
Speaking as a player, not as the character.
Right. So okay. So first and foremost, yeah. So you're just gonna grab his hand and push that into Lazar. Here. So first, sorry, trying to remember who's who. Okay, you are that particular guy. Okay. So you're off balance. That's a boost, but you do get to use that. Okay. So Roderick, go ahead and make a fight roll, and Lazar, you're using athletics to try and get away from it.
For fuck's sake.
3. Oh man.
That is not how it's supposed to go down.
Okay, so all right, so you made it by 1. So if you want to use the fact that let's see. Actually, so you can at this point, if you want to invoke an aspect, you can invoke blue lightning.
I can.
Actually, it would be Roderick who would be doing that.
I get to invoke the blue lightning on Lazar?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so go ahead and deal one of your
Okay, and
cards.
so just to note, like up to this moment, we're all just assuming that this thing is non-lethal now, aren't we?
Right. Well, it is connected to a
Wow.
knife, so I mean, knives are not known
So
as being
one of the cards
non-lethal.
that are in my deck?
Yeah. So just deal one. Play one of the
does he
cards.
invoke it,
Doesn't
or
matter
does he
which
get
one.
to use the free invoke, or do I only get that?
He's not really on your side, so it doesn't really count as something that he can use.
Cool.
So he did have to use the fate point for it. So all right. So that means that okay. So he beat the roll by 3. Then he gets 1 for the weapon. So all right. So that means you take 4 stress, Lazar.
But the point of the
God
blue lightning is to
damn.
knock somebody out.
Right. So what's going to happen here, and this is part of the more complicated mechanics. I think what's happening is Lazar, you're probably going to use up your 2 stress box,
Okay.
and then you're taking a mild consequence.
Okay.
So
Stun?
that adds up to 4. Yeah, that would probably be it.
All right. Well, there you go.
All right, so you're like,
Which would be something that no one here has ever seen happen to anyone ever before.
oh, you know what? That's a good point. Everybody, it's a really, really mild like sanity thing. But I mean, this is like, you see like blue energy like arcing out from this, and like it looks like Lazar's being like, being like incinerated or something.
Electrocuted or no?
Well, I mean,
Well, I mean, you see
electrocuted would
like
be the point.
right. Yeah, I mean, like you're seeing like arcs of like blue, like electricity, like go all along his body.
Because electrocuted would be something that people will be familiar with, but something other than electrocuted would be.
Yeah, it's not really It's like, I mean, it looks kind of like electricity, only it's like.
Yeah, when I said no one's seen it before, I was thinking in terms of no one would have ever seen somebody get electrocuted from, like, not from a wall socket or from a,
Right.
A hanging wire or something like that.
I don't know. I think like the whole condenser batteries were very old.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of
yeah,
energy
but this
density
isn't
wasn't there for something like a
right.
taser in 1940.
So I think I am going to not make everybody make a sanity roll, even though I could, because I think that the only people who would really be like, "Whoa, man, that was way more powerful than I thought it would, than anything should be," are really basically you, Val, and you've already confronted the fact that you're dealing with something that you don't know. So, so yeah, in this case, you would, or I mean, Killian might theoretically fail a sanity roll there too, but he's not in the area. So, so there's no sanity required.
Creates a spark that arcs more than a centimeter or so. And the way you've described it, it's much more than that. Then the power level of this thing is much higher than I expected, which is cool.
Yeah.
Not for Lazar.
Well,
No.
yeah, Lazar's like,
Oh, he's a Nazi. Oh, no, wait, hang on. That was Roderick. Sorry.
By the way, it's your move, Lazar.
I
He's
like,
stunned them.
so being stunned.
Well, he's stunned. He's stunned, so that means that he's got he has a consequence on his sheet that you can invoke. Actually, you get a free invoke since you cost it.
Well, since I'm a slippery target, can I get out of there? Like
Once
move
it's
to a
your
different
turn, you can
position?
try and.
Okay, at
Once
the,
it's your turn
at,
again,
at
you
the
can try and do
earliest inopportune or at the earliest opportune moment, Constantine's going to come back in the door and very calmly walk to the center of the room, pull his Colt's pistol from his pocket and shoot into the ceiling twice.
All right, I'll let you do that after Artem gets to do whatever he wants to do. Since
I'm not
Killing
even
the tenant upstairs. Sorry, go ahead.
So I mean, you just got stabbed by something that you've never seen before, and it's kind of freaky. But
Yes, and I'm not really interested in attacking Val, and I wasn't really interested in attacking Roderick. I just wanted to confront him and
right,
basically.
although he did just stab you, so there is that.
Well,
Yeah,
not
so-
necessarily stab, just electrocute.
I think I'm gonna have to swing at Roderick.
All right, okay, Roderick, you're so Lazar, go and make your fight roll.
God damn it!
And yeah, I'll let you go next, Louis.
So 3.
Okay, and Roderick, you're you're opposing that with your athletics. So go ahead and make an athletics roll.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, so you swung and missed. So you're still a little bit shaken from being the first man in the history of the world to be tased.
Do I yell to Val, "Don't tease me, bro"?
You tase me,
Bro.
All right, so this is where Constantine subtly tries to get everyone's attention by
Right.
discharging a firearm.
Okay. All right, so you do.
So
Completely freaks out the owner. You got plaster all over your head now. You guys can go ahead and choose whether or not that did anything.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
That'd be a good enough distraction for me to make some distance so I can not as close to Lazar.
All right. Like cower behind the old man behind you.
No, not necessarily that. Just kind of move out of the way so he can't swing at me again.
All right. Okay, so you moved out of Lazar's punching range. Okay.
Okay, so I take
What are you doing, Val? Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying I'm not a meat shield. I should not be giving ideas like this.
Oh, I still have your arm. I could use you instead.
I should self-compel? I don't know. What the hell? I'm just saying.
Can I use my body language reader to basically read Roderick to see that he's not like it's in place of empathy. I can use survival.
Right.
That's the body language reader, so he doesn't
Right. So yeah, I mean, you can look at him and you can see that he's and I'm just using the fact that you've got actually you do want to your survival is +2. Is that correct?
+3.
Okay, so yeah, +3 or higher. By the way, you get automatic notices to stuff. So yeah, I mean, in this case, you can see. I mean, he's scared. He's not like
the guys on the train.
Right. I mean, again, like you can't really use empathy to tell if a guy's a Nazi or not, because that would be like, it seems like that would be like the equivalent of like no alignment in like Dungeons and Dragons in like 2nd and 3rd edition. Oh, he looks like he's chaotic evil to you. Well, okay. But I mean, you can definitely see that he's scared. He's not like, it doesn't look like he's like he just, like when he grabbed the dude's hand, Val's hand, it looks like that was just like a opportunity kind of reaction, not a
It was more
not necessarily
than malice.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so I'm
Right, so does
standing
Constantine
down.
actually have everyone's attention?
Sure. Yeah, the bartender's like, creeping up from the side. Is somebody gonna pay for this?
Not me. I'm broke.
Okay, if he says that, Constantine aims the pistol at his head momentarily and says, "Shut up and sit down."
Wow. Okay, that's a provoke. His will's only +1, so go make a provoke roll.
And I can use deceive in place of provoke to make mental attacks, as long as I can make up a clever lie as part of the attack.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the fun part, is you actually have to lie, remember.
Yeah, no, okay. I'll just say, this is the king's business. Sit down and shut up.
Shit down was good too.
Yeah, worse.
This is the king's business.
It's a bit of a Dutch accent there. Sit down.
I will call my rat. All right, so yeah, so go ahead and make a deceive roll then. Yeah, I would say that you made that.
I would say he sits down and shuts up.
Right, like
He might do both.
all right.
All right, excellent. So I turn my attention back to the others, and I go, okay,
As
we've
a matter
had
of
enough
fact-
of this nonsense. And Constantine just gestures with the gun in the direction of Roderick. Let me guess, Section M told you to meet us here. Because
That's
this is what he actually told us just before all the fighting started.
Yeah.
No, I asked him, have you heard of Section M?
No, he actually said that he was announcing that, telling us
Oh, did
about
he? I missed
Section
that.
M. Yeah.
I was
In the
supposed to meet
presence of royalty.
Constantine here.
Okay, so there's no particular reason why you idiots should be killing each other, because we're also here on the behest of Section M.
On the plus side, the taser works.
Yeah, that's
I mean, the
fantastic.
lightning works. Just as a side note, I did say that my trouble is unshakable self-confidence causes chaos. So
Right.
I'm just saying.
Fair enough.
Right. Well, yeah, I think
That
I think we definitely invoked your the self-confidence definitely worked into the last thing. So there you go. All right. So by the way, you'll notice that you succeeded so well that I gave you another aspect to use.
Okay, so yeah, when
So they
when,
used your we're on the king's business to like they took that to mean that you're actually like literally like in the employ of the king.
Well, I am quite regal.
Oh my god. The king's coming up this way.
Okay, so as soon as Constantine is satisfied that the idiots have stopped trying to kill each other, he turns back to this barman, and he puts his own pistol away and he apologizes to this man and says, "I'm very sorry that the true purpose of our visit to this town had to be revealed in such a violent way, but we are on the king's business. We are super duper secret, and." Well, we are here, and he sheds all pretense, and he says, "We are here because we are interested in," and I forget this guy's name, the guy
Reese?
whose farm it was.
Well, yeah, the original guy was I have to look this up.
Bentley.
Kyle Reese is the guy. Yeah, Bentley. Kyle Reese is the guy who recently went missing. And you are here on behalf of the Lady Warwick. Notice I said that correctly.
Very good. But yeah,
Charles Bentley. Yeah.
Basically, I dropped the pretense towards the publican, and I just tell him why we're here, not with the details, but I just tell him what we're here to see, and I ask him if he knows anything about this farm or its previous inhabitants.
Okay, let's go ahead and see how well you do with that. With a sorry, it's not thinking rapport roll.
All right. So is there any way for me to invoke those eating out of the palm of your hand in the presence of royalty?
Absolutely. I mean, depending on how good your roll is, if you have to invoke those, you
Okay, so I rolled a 3.
Okay, so I mean that's actually, it's actually just good enough for a regular success. So if you want to do a succeed with style, you can invoke one of those. Any of those actually, the mildly xenophobic even is a boost. So if you can find a way to use that against them, or do it in favor of yourself.
Okay, I'll tell him. As I'm telling him about our purpose here, it's because nefarious foreign elements are planning to to undermine the throne.
Oh, it's the Irish, isn't it?
It's always the Irish, sir.
At this point, Val does not mention his Irish heritage.
Who needs Nazis when you've got the Irish in your own backyard?
Spoken like a true Englishman.
Those damn dirty mix.
So you're out here to see
that was
the
part of actual gameplay.
so you're out here to see the old farm then. That's weird. You're the second person to ask about that in the last 3 weeks.
Oh, I see. Do tell me more.
There's a man named Kyle Reese who was just in here 3 weeks ago looking for the same thing, the same place. He kept coming back lots and lots of times. Always paid in cash, very polite. I guess the only way to pay back then was in cash. So,
and when
didn't have a line of credit.
When would this have been?
Last time we saw him in here was about 3 or 4 days ago.
I see. And before that, how many visits did he make to your fine establishment, your fine British establishment?
I mean, we are the only game in town, but we like to do what we do. Probably about once a day, sometimes twice.
I see. And over how long a period?
Well, he came in 3 weeks ago, and last time we saw him was about 4 days ago.
Oh, I see. So did he tell you anything about his purpose?
Let's take a quick look here. He was pretty tight-lipped about that. Oh, then the waitress walks up and she's like, "The boy's doing the devil's work just like his grandfather."
What do you mean by that?
Okay, so go ahead and make a rapport roll on her.
All right. Let's see. Okay, and I'll probably want to invoke eating out of the palm of your hand or the royalty, whichever you judge.
All right. It's up to you. You can go either way. However you want to justify.
Okay, yeah, I'll just stick with the whole, authoritarian team. And I'll go, listen, young lady, you had better tell me what you mean by that because the king is watching and, might be a knighthood in it for you.
Ooh, my. Ooh. I would be a proper lady at last. Actually, I'm not the person maybe you should be talking to. You should talk to old man Withers there in the end of the bar. So you get a good British name. Old man.
Chance not the guy I was scamming.
It was another old man. There's like 3 old men. Old man with his Gloucestershire.
Please don't do that.
Gloucester.
So you can't see my ears bleeding right now, but I assure you they are. Okay, so yeah, I'll go over and have a chat with this old geezer.
Okay. Yes, hello. I'm old man with his Gloucestershire.
And I am perplexed. Yeah, I introduce myself as I don't know, Colonel so and so of His Majesty's Royal Armed Forces.
Oh, all right, so you're gonna start straight up with the deceive. Okay, go ahead and roll deceive then. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Oh yes, the 4th Cavalry Corps. I believe that my cousin served in there. Do you know of Lindsay Elbin in Gloucestershire?
Cousin tight.
Okay, I'm going to use my empathy to determine whether he actually likes said cousin. The way he talks about him.
Sure, yeah, make an empathy roll. Sure, yeah, he's a fan of his cousin.
Okay, well, I'd say something suitably nice about, oh yeah, quality chap, can always be relied on, etc.
Okay, by the way, that's in there as a boost since you made that roll. Actually, that's an invoke, with a... Oh yeah. So by the way, stress goes away at the end, like after you have just a break. Actually, yeah, the mild consequence goes away after a good night's sleep. Stress goes away like just in between encounters, so you don't have to worry about patching that up. The consequences, yeah, a bit more. You actually would need medic in order to do that. Biology, unfortunately, isn't enough. Biology would mean yes, by the theory of evolution. Your arm should have its own internal mechanisms to patch itself up. Let's talk about that in some.
Sorry to derail that, guys. I was sending a note
no
to
problem.
Johnny for later, and he jumped right into it. So sorry.
Oh, no problem. I mean, everybody's kind of working at one thing. I don't want to monopolize everybody's time.
No. That's why I was sending it for later. That's why I sent it as a whisper.
Oh yeah, no problem. So basically, the roll that you'd be making on there would be medic, unless you've got some special stunt that you can switch things out for.
No worries. You keep going with what you were doing. I was just doing that for later.
All right. Yeah, no worries. Okay. So, all right. So you're talking to him. Yeah, he's a fan of the cousin. So he also seems pretty suitably impressed by.
How very fucking impressive I am.
Oh yes. So that's another aspect, by the way. Both of these have free invokes on them if you want to use them. So, all right. I assume you're going to start asking about what he knows, or
yeah, that's the idea.
Okay, go ahead and make a rapport roll.
Oh.
Yikes.
Yeah, so I want to invoke whatever I can invoke to make that better.
Yeah, so you got 3. I mean, you can use the cousin. You can use the fact that he's impressed by your rank.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to use the cousin just to kind of mellow him out a bit further, just to melt his defenses. I just make up this story about how him and his cousin meet, and his cousin once got quite tipsy on sherry, and we did something that was ribald but quite harmless. So it just makes for a funny anecdote. We shat in a constable's hat. Just something quite...
That's even better than the time that Ashley Funnington and I... I'm just making up British names now to piss off Louis, but...
It's working.
All right, so I mean, that puts you up into a tie if you want to use the other one to get up to a...
Oh, to a success. Okay, and then I just subtly allude to... I think from talking about how fantastic his cousin is to the responsibilities, the severe responsibilities of my current job to secure the security of the nation. etc. So I am quite pleased that you, as a good citizen, are willing to help us with our inquiries.
All right. So he's pretty suitably worked up there by his patriotic fervor. So he's I'm not going to try to do the accent, so I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, I can hear how horrified everyone is that you're not going to do the accent.
And so in about, let's see, what was it, 1904, the old guy, Bentley, came in here and this town, and he bought an old farmhouse. I was one of the guys he hired to fix it up. I also worked on that weird stone house he built down by the lake. He told me he's going to raise plants in it. I didn't see how, seeing as it didn't have any windows. Well, he was paying us pretty well. Back in the day, that was £1 a day.
Wow.
An entire pound.
Wow. That's actually quite good.
Let's see, where was I now? So I just kept my mouth shut, and I took my sterling. So things are pretty normal for a while, then...
Okay, so I asked him at this point, I break it down, I asked him to specify the location of this grow house, because he said by the lake, by the lake where?
Right.
I take out my map, my road map, which I had put on the hood of the car. And,
Sure.
let's assume I brought it back in with me, and I asked him to show me.
Oops, I am drawing freehand apparently. So that little triangle there. Today, sorry. So you decide to call it the grow house, okay? Yeah. We can tell what country Louis from. All right, so he marked that down. If you can see where that is, little black triangle. All right, so let's see. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I was wrong. It wasn't 1950. It was more like 1890. Then around 1901 or 1902, aught 1 or aught 2. See, the carriages that carry livestock started coming through town. The drivers that stopped here always said they were delivering to Bentley. Now, I would pass this place a few times. I'm sorry. I've modified this from an American story. During the summer, and I never once saw any of the livestock out in the field. It's kind of weird. I think he was taking them to that stone house. In fact, I think he was probably sacrificing them to the devil.
What makes you say that?
It's just a feeling I have. I'm an old man.
Well, did the milk curdle? Did any maids take to the skies?
Well, look, all I know is that those livestock went into that house and they never came out.
Sounds like a barbecue.
So then in it was 1909, those two stinks from Oxford came down and died in the fire. They seemed nice enough, for jerky intellectuals and all, but yeah, it's just weird that the farmhouse burned down right after they went there. It's also mighty queer how they both died and how Bentley survived. I don't know. I guess his master was looking out for him. The devil. Last I heard, he was in some sort of hospital. But, now, of course, I'm sure you've heard that his grandson's come back.
His grandson?
That would be Reese.
Reese, oh, right. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, we would quite like to talk to him as well to help us with our inquiries. So if he comes in future, would you call this number? I take it, Constantine has noted down some kind of Section M phone number. Well, actually, back in those days, pick up the phone and ask the operator to be connected to
7.
The Yorkshire 6.
Right. So
we have 6
basically
phones up here now.
Is Constantine getting the impression that this is basically all that can be gotten from this guy?
Yeah, I mean he's got plenty of stories about the war if you want to listen to them.
Yeah, I think we can. Assume that we took the relevant information to heart. Okay, so Constantine says, well, thanks him for his help and asked him and the staff of the pub to kind of, let the authorities know if Reese shows back up, although he doesn't really believe that this will be the case. And did we have any ready cash on us from Section M?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's always you can always have some cash. They didn't really necessarily give you a lot. You can make a resources roll if you need to spend it somewhere.
Yeah, I just want to see if we can pay for the damage I did to the ceiling.
Sure. That would be a resource roll. So
I can try.
all right. So you got 2. Yeah, I mean, you did a lot of damage there, so it might be a little bit more than what you got in there. Aspects hint.
I would be willing to contribute.
Well, he's already made the roll. What the way that this works is you can build up advantages, and hint there are, I see at least one out there that he can use right now. You can build up advantages, be like before you finally decide to make the roll to see about doing something. But as we ran into last week, actually, once you make that roll, then whatever's on the table. Or,
the moment you said that, there was already one possibility that you can see to invoke something. It's like what went through my head was Constantine going, "Would you at all like this blue crystal thingy we have in lieu of money?"
And you couldn't use your rapport to talk him down on how much damage there is. Oh, it's not
Well,
that bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
he could have.
I'm going to invoke eating out of the palm of my
Right.
hand, and
That
I'm
was
going
exactly
to
what I was thinking.
I'm going to give them it's not quite enough to cover the damages, but I'm saying it's wartime and all our funds are kind of needed to keep the Germans from our door, to keep
Sure.
the jackboots from our streets, to keep Yorkshire for the Yorkshiremen,
And
So-
to keep the Irish the hell out.
to keep the Irish the hell out and possibly shoot them and dump them in a bog.
Yeah, so they're very impressed. They're like, okay, don't worry about
So
it.
it's no bad feeling.
It's on us.
Okay, so and
They
then and
accept what
only
you have,
then
but yeah.
does Constantine's worry for Lazar kick in, and he just goes and cursory checks if Lazar is still alive.
And he did die, so no, I'm kidding.
Okay.
A heart attack.
And I'm sorry. So while all that's happening, Brian, you doing anything else? You think you said you were going back to the rendezvous point?
Correct.
Okay. So after all that's happened here, especially with all the information that was dumped, you're probably back at the pub by now.
Sure.
Actually, did you want to walk all the way back to the pub, or are you gonna just stake out a position before there?
Well, the original plan was for me to stake out a position.
Okay. All right. So you're staking out the position. Okay. All right. Yeah. Roderick, Lazar, are you doing anything?
I'm keeping my
I'm
distance from
stunned.
Lazar.
I'm maybe ordering another pint, but other than that, no.
Well, while he's stunned, I would want to be talking to him to first say sorry for the accidental stabbing, and secondly, ask to take a look at the wounds so that I can learn more about what it actually did.
Jeez.
And if I need to use
It's like
a-
you got him in the gut. You're like, "Ew, can I see your belly?"
Yeah, well, we can wait until we're outside. But
I
yes,
don't think I want a kid
Uh-oh.
examining me.
That's a very
No.
interesting wound you gave me.
well, it wasn't all mine. I have to give some credit to our new friend. But if I need to, I would use like a rapport roll or something like that. But it is something you would want to examine. Well, with his doctorate in biology.
All right. Or your equivalent. You're like a teenage ingenue who has the equivalent like level of smartology.
Smartology.
That's a word.
I think the
Physics
word
chemistry,
Yeah, John, I think the word our English lit major is groping for there is prodigy.
I said ingenue. Ingenue is pretty close.
Yes.
He has the. It was the word that I was looking for, like expertise, but yeah. But yeah. So okay. In the meantime, I'm sorry, Roderick. Whose pocket were you going to pick?
Lazar's.
Jeez.
Well, he is stunned.
I'm just so. You guys are getting along so well. I feel like
Dear God.
I feel like, so I'm going to say in advance, he's going to react very, he's probably not going to react well to that.
I won't.
But if you want to, I mean, it is worth a fate point if you want to
No, it's
self-compel that. All right.
No, he's bigger than me. I'll concede.
You're like, he's like putting in, like, he's acting like he's going to start doing it, then he decides not to at the last moment. All right. So, by the way, yeah, I think Lazar's you're the only person who took any stress, so you can wipe that off since
Yay!
you've had 5 minutes to recuperate. The
Sure.
consequence will stay there until you
Okay.
get a good night's sleep.
All right.
All right. So, okay. So, what are you going to do?
Am I still off balance?
Oh, yeah. That was just a
That was just for the
yeah.
bit. Okay.
Yeah. The rattled is still in effect for Brian, but the off balance is not.
Okay.
So I'll just, in fact, let me go ahead. Come on. There. Yeah, you're constantly off balance for the next, like, 6 hours.
Just checking. Just checking.
This is like tripping and falling until somebody invokes that against you.
That was one hell of a beer.
Like concussion.
Okay, so Constantine walks up to Roderick, I guess, and says, I didn't quite catch your name and all of that.
Oh, so I'll introduce myself and say that M told me to meet you specifically as the leader of this group.
Oh, that's news to me. That's fantastic.
Once again, Constantine's once again duly impressed by the power and size of this organization.
Yeah, just, and very gratified to have been made king of Shit Hill.
The bartender overhears that. No, that's down in Exeter. It's more to the south.
Are we in the place where the sun don't shine?
Okay, so yeah, Constantine just basically, introduces himself as well and asks Roderick what it is he does.
Oh, so I'll tell him, I do basically a stage magician performer.
At this point, Constantine just kind of gapes at him.
They put a magician.
Okay, and Constantine turns around and he walks back outside to have another cigarette.
Yes. So, you know any tricks? Val
Yeah,
will
well,
say that
Constantine's
to
down.
Roderick.
That was a pretty good trick with the blue lightning.
Yeah, but that was my trick, not your trick.
So you have a new invoke on yourself, lung cancer.
But seriously, Val will say to Roderick, so what kind of tricks? He is rather a skeptical bent.
All right, well, I can show him
Roderick?
something, something I would use to con someone in the bar for beers, show them how to, a little coin trick or something.
All right. Actually, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. And, what role would that be?
Tradecraft.
Perform. Yeah, I guess you're using kind of the tradecraft to. Yeah, sure, that'll work. I think it's actually a form of rapport, actually.
Yeah, I was
Oh, I
thinking
can
you
do
were
rapport
poor.
as well.
Sleight of hand is quite tradecrafty as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on like what you're doing in there. If you're like, doing a big patter while you're,
Sorry, 1 second.
performing and kind of
I'll be
showing
right
off,
back.
then it's
Well, the
rapport.
hand is
It's-
under stealth, so
okay.
it'd be a plus.
Actually, as a matter of fact, wow, that is a incredibly bad roll.
The other one was better.
So, yeah, so you're like, this is a coin, and then like you drop it on the floor, and you're trying to show like a card trick, but like you mix it up, and you have like a coin in amongst the cards, and you're trying to get them to not pick the coin. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
So what you're saying is Val is so impressed he'll say, I can make blue lightning.
I'm actually gonna take a 5-minute break. That would be great.
Sure.
That's cool.
Sounds good.
Okay, great.